I'm Blair Gilbert here from MrHardware.com and Gilbert's Pro Hardware in St. Clair Shore, here to do some window glazing. We're going to do it old style. Putty, putty knife, glass, wood sash. We have an old window here. It's looking pretty sad. This window isn't getting the deluxe treatment. But what we are going to show you is the wood is just dry and porous and gray and looks terrible. We take a little bit of linseed oil. Shy of buying linseed oil, I've taken and used oil-based varnish that was old. I thinned it down a little bit so I could take the varnish and I just painted on the wood and where the glazing is going to go. Doesn't have to be a great job. The purpose of this is the porous wood sucks the oil out of the glazing. It sucks it out so fast the glazing never cures properly and it ends up drying and cracking. It pulls the oil out of the glazing so fast that instead of curing out, because it takes up to 2 weeks for real glazing compound to cure and get hard or stiff, that in the process the wood sucks the oils out, the oil goes into the wood, and then now I have a crappy glazing because my putty won't last. My putty will dry out and crack sooner than it should. So not real great coat, just a little light coat all the way around. Let it penetrate in. The cool thing is, when you get real glazing compound, it already has an oil base, a linseed oil base. So I don't have to wait very long for this to soak in, and I can putty right over it even if it's damp. One more quick aside. Linseed oil is one of the few products that will spontaneously combust. So any rags or any of this you have laying around, you make sure you don't ever let it get in a pile. You always take the rags and you lay them out over a fence or somewhere outside so they can air out and can't catch a fire. Ball them up, leave them in a corner, fire. Linseed oil is kind of dangerous that way. One trick of doing glazing properly is when you first pull putty out of a jar, it takes and it needs to be kneaded. It needs to be worked back and forth in your hands until the putty gets soft. So you have to work the putty back and forth, make snakes out of it, do whatever you want, but you get the putty so when you squeeze it, it doesn't create too many lines. So it takes a little bit, a whole minute. That's where some people get impatient and they don't take the time to do a good job of it. So you get the putty and it also helps warm it. And warmer makes it a little easier to deal with too. If you have too much money, you can take and buy a glazer's knife, which is a putty knife that's bent like this, which helps putty. Or you don't, for around $3 or $4, you can buy an inexpensive putty knife, but you get one that has a stiff blade. This blade doesn't bend. Putty knives for spackling and glazing have really soft blades, but glazing knives have stiff blades. There's a big difference in how tough these two blades are. So you don't want a soft blade, you need a stiff blade for this job. The other thing we're going to show you is you can see the wood on the other side of this frame. The wood sticks out about 1/4 inch past where the glass goes into the frame. You want the putty to be at the same angle as that wood. So what we do is we drive the putty into the joint here, the mortise, and this is right over that linseed oil. Because linseed oil and the putty, they're friends. They're the same product. So these are matching. So I did get the putty in here fast and dirty. I hold the knife at about a 45-degree angle, which is too fat. And this is what I call my first draw. A few things went wrong, but it's the first draw. I can put more putty in to fix where I didn't like how it came out on me. Where it's cracking is where it's just not kneaded quite enough. So it's just a lesson to you spend more time kneading the putty and get it softer. So the first draw is too fat. I come again a little narrower. I look on the other side to see if my putty is sticking proud of the glass. The putty's just showing just a little bit there. So I'll take, and once you do one or two, this angle comes a lot easier. I do another draw just a little thinner. And the third draw, as you pull the putty down, if you smooth the putties with your fingers slightly, it looks real nice. It's put putty in. You pack it into the corner. And when you go to draw it off, you draw it off a little fat first, too big an angle. And then you can come back a little steeper, and that's matching my wood just fine. So there you have it. Quick, easy, get the putty in, 2 or 3 draws, find the angle that matches the wood in the bottom side, and that's as easy as it is to glaze a window. One trick when I'm painting this window after I'm done, I don't tape the glass. I take and paint it carefully so I get just a little bit of paint on the glass, and that helps keep a sealed edge between the putty and the glass. So painting is another story altogether, but when this gets painted, that's one of the tricks. You get a little paint on the glass and it helps seal the whole perimeter.